Hi, everybody. I just want to quickly go over 2 points. First of all, I'm not going to talk about it first, but I want to tell you what's probably most important. I'm going to introduce the groups in which you will be workshopping each other's writing. I'll show you how that's going to work. Before I do that, I just wanted to visually show you a little bit of what we've been talking about in those help forums as we've gone back and forth the last day or two with a few questions about how to know when you need to post your full 4 to 5 posts to a discussion forum or not. There was some confusion last week over that. So for this week's work, let's take a look at this. When there are going to be follow-ups required for a discussion forum, you will always see 2 dates in the checklist. So here you've got an initial post due on the 4th, follow-ups by the 7th. Your other discussion forum this week, your writing exercises, are due on the 7th. There's no initial date, there are no follow-ups due. Okay, the norm really is whenever possible, I will try to assign follow-ups for both forums. And the reason for that is this is a 15-week course packed into 7 weeks. It's a 3 credit hour course that we're crunching through in this really short time. So for those credits to be substantive enough to be earned, or the work for those credits to be substantive enough to earn those credits, to make sure the course transfers for all sorts of reasons, I have to make sure I'm assigning you that kind of substantial work. Okay, so for each forum in which you have follow-ups due, you apply the rubric, which means the rubric I introduced on week 1. The rubric indicates that you need to have 4 to 5 posts over the course of the week to get full credit. So that's the key there. So just look at these due dates here. And as always, the checklist is the definitive place where you go to see what's due when. If there are mistakes here, let me know. I'll fix them right away. If there's ever a contradiction between what's in the checklist and what is somewhere else, the checklist rules. And the reason is, in the past, I tried to make my dates very redundant. I put them all over the place in the course. And you've seen a few that have snuck into discussion forum instructions and things like that. And the reason I stopped doing that is for exactly this reason. When you update the course, you being me, when the course is updated, it's really tough to pick up all those various instances of where the dates are. I proofread the materials, and they've still snuck through. And so the definitive place for all your due dates is here in the checklist. You have a draft due this Sunday. Now, there are no follow-ups identified here, but you do have follow-ups. They will simply be conducted next week, the week 5 writing workshop. One thing quick before I dive down and show you these writing topics, we do still have a short story discussion on Griffin. Very interesting character and depiction of that character, very nuanced characterization. So do read that and discuss that. Also read before you do your critique the tips for critiquing other writers' work, which is extremely helpful. It really gives you the guidelines for how to approach commenting and giving feedback in a way that is going to be helpful and effective. Also, I would revisit the nitty-gritty on your short story here. And that's very important because that gives you the criteria by which I'm going to be judging it, evaluating it, so you know what to look for: characterization, plot, style, mechanics. When it comes to mechanics, don't proofread each other's papers. These are early drafts, but if you notice patterns, identify them. You have a lot of run-on sentences, you've got spelling problems, especially ones that might confuse the meaning. For example, if somebody is not separating out lines of dialogue between speakers or punctuating dialogue correctly, point that out. Now, you are going to be assigned to a single group. I see all 5 groups here because I'm the teacher. You should only see one group here. Okay, so to that group is where you will post your draft. You'll start a new thread, and then you will add an attachment here and upload your short story draft either as a Word document or in rich text format. And that's very important. You want to make sure the format is something everybody's going to be able to read, whatever your word processor is. Rich text format does that. Okay? Do not copy and paste your story in here. It's very difficult to give adequate feedback in a response to a discussion post. The best thing to do is to download the story and make comments directly on the draft. And you'll see I will even use the word discussion, the word review tools. So you'll have little bubbles and things like that pointing out spots that I want you to look at. One other thing you can do with your groups, if you come into the groups area directly, and again, you should only see one group here. If you don't see a group here or a discussion forum back in the content area, let me know and I'll flip the switches in case I miss something. You should only see your group here. If not, then check out the groups, make sure you're in the right one. Your name should be there. You can email your group by clicking on email here. And this is a useful tool sometimes to get discussion going. But I would much rather you keep all your discussion in the discussion forum because then I can review it and look at it. And I definitely want you to share your feedback in that workshop area because I need to look at it so I can assess your feedback. Okay, that is everything. As usual, I'm here if you've got any questions. Email me, post to the help forum. If you start feeling lost, we can always talk on the phone. You can pop into my office, whatever. I am here to support you through this.